You know that familiar red powder sitting in your kitchen cabinet? It's way more than just something to add a little heat to your food. We call it a spice, sure, but really, cayenne pepper is a delivery system for one of the most amazing bioactive compounds out there. So let's get into it because this molecule doesn't just tingle your tongue, it actually has a conversation with your body's most fundamental signaling system. And right away, that brings us to this huge paradox, right? The question that's had scientists hooked for years. How on earth can something that feels like it's burning you actually be used to get rid of pain? I mean, it sounds totally backward, but the answer is just this brilliant biological hack that happens right down at the molecular level. Okay, so the star of the show is this molecule right here, capsaicin. It's the thing that brings all that heat. But its actual structure is where the real story is. See that word, amphiphilic? That's the secret sauce. It means capsaicin has this dual personality. It's got a head that gets along with water and a long, fatty tail that loves to hang out with fats and oils. This split personality is exactly how it pulls off its two incredibly powerful tricks inside our bodies. All right, first up, let's look at capsaicin's most famous move, its ability to directly go after and, well, hack the pain receptors in our nervous system. This isn't just some random feeling, it's a direct chemical conversation it's having with our neurons. The specific target it's aiming for is a receptor called TRPV1. You can pretty much think of it as a bouncer or a gatekeeper on your pain-sensing neurons. Its whole job is to act like a cellular thermostat. It starts screaming danger when it senses things like really high temperatures. We're talking over 108 degrees Fahrenheit, or certain chemical irritants. And capsaicin? Well, it holds the perfect molecular key to bust that gate right open. So here's what happens in a split second. The capsaicin molecule locks onto that TRPV1 receptor and boom, the gate swings wide open. This creates a little channel and a flood of calcium ions comes rushing into the nerve cell. This sudden influx is like flipping a giant red switch. The neuron instantly fires off this powerful, urgent signal straight to your brain that screams heat, pain, fire, even though there's no actual fire anywhere. That's the burn you're feeling. But listen, that initial fire alarm, that's just Act 1. What happens after the neuron has basically screamed itself hoarse is where the real magic, the actual pain relief, kicks in. This timeline lays out the whole process perfectly. At first, you get that intense burn, but then give it about 15 minutes or so, and the neuron starts getting tired. It enters what's called a refractory state. It's just less responsive. A couple of hours later, what started as increased sensitivity to heat actually flips into a reduced sensitivity. And if you keep applying it, the neuron basically just throws in the towel. It becomes desensitized, and it can't send those pain signals like it used to. And this isn't just some wacky theory. This is the well-known science behind why those topical capsaicin creams for arthritis and nerve pain actually work. By just overwhelming the pain receptors over and over, you're essentially turning their volume dial way, way down. And that leads to real long-term relief. You're literally fighting fire with fire. Now, if the story stopped right there, capsaicin would still be a pretty incredible molecule. But its little dance with the TRPV1 receptor, that's only half the story. There's a much deeper, more fundamental mechanism happening here, one that goes way beyond just tricking our nerves. So this is where we level up. We're moving beyond the nerve hacking to uncover a more subtle, but honestly maybe an even more important effect that capsaicin has on the very structure of our cells. So you've got to think of capsaicin as having two completely different superpowers. On one side, you've got the TRPV1 dependent effects. That's the classic burn we just talked about. But on the other side, you have these TRPV1 independent effects. And this is where capsaicin stops being a key for a specific lock and starts being a tool that physically reshapes the entire wall that the lock is sitting in. So how does it pull this off? Well, remember that fatty tail and that water-loving head? That unique structure lets capsaicin literally wedge itself right into the cell's outer membrane, the lipid bilayer. It's almost like jamming a crowbar into a delicate machine. Just by being there, it changes the membrane's flexibility, its stiffness, its entire structure, and that in turn messes with the function of other proteins and channels that are stuck in that membrane, even if they have nothing to do with capsaicin directly. And this cellular hack, this physical disruption, creates a massive ripple effect all through the body. It can influence everything from how we burn calories to how our cells grow. It's just a perfect example of how one tiny molecule can have these huge system-wide effects. Let's look at a real-world example. A study looked at something super simple. What happens when you just add cayenne pepper to a meal? And the results were pretty wild. The people who ate the soup with cayenne felt way fuller. Their cravings for salty foods dropped. And get this, they actually reported feeling more energetic and satisfied. That's a direct line from this molecule's actions to our own metabolism and mood. And that ripple effect, it gets even crazier. In lab studies, capsaicin has shown some incredible anti-cancer potential. It can actually trigger something called apoptosis. That's basically programmed cell death in cancer cells. And it can slam the brakes on their ability to multiply. Now, maybe the most amazing part is that it seems to be selective. It goes after the bad cells while leaving the healthy ones alone. Okay, so we've definitely established that cayenne is a seriously powerful biological tool. And just like any powerful tool, you've got to use it with some knowledge and respect. It's not for everybody, and it can definitely interact with other things that are going on inside your body. So here's the bottom line. You have to be careful. If you've got stomach ulcers, if you're taking blood thinners like warfarin or even certain diabetes medications, you really need to be cautious. The interactions can be serious, which is why you should always talk to your doctor before you start using cayenne for any kind of medicinal purpose. So why all the caution? Well, the reason for these drug interactions comes down to this super important group of enzymes in your liver called cytochrome P450. You can think of these guys as the cleanup crew for your entire body. They are the workhorses that break down almost everything, from the food you eat to the medications you take. And here's the catch. Capsaicin actually slows down some of these key enzymes. For example, it puts the brakes on the enzymes that process common drugs like blood thinners and statins. By slowing down that cleanup crew, capsaicin can cause the levels of those drugs to build up in your system, and that can be really dangerous. This is exactly why understanding these tiny molecular interactions is so critical. So after everything we've gone through, the big takeaway here is pretty clear. We have to completely reframe how we think about cayenne pepper. It is not just a flavor, it's a potent, biologically active compound that is speaking to our bodies in the language of biochemistry. I mean, this really sums up the whole incredible story. We've seen its two-pronged attack, the direct hack on our pain system through that TRPV1 receptor, and then that more subtle physical tampering with our cell membranes that causes all those widespread ripple effects. It's just a masterclass in the kind of power that's hiding in the food we eat every day. And that leaves us with one last, really fascinating question to chew on. Cayenne pepper isn't magic, it's just chemistry. And it just makes you wonder, if a simple pepper can do all of these complex biological tricks, what other incredible molecules are out there, just waiting to be discovered, hiding in plain sight on our spice racks and in our grocery stores?